Today on Locked On Rockies, after a tough week of losses, the Rockies bounce back with a pretty solid weekend of spring training action as the real deal starts in just a little bit, over 2 weeks or so. Plus, the World Baseball Classic has proven to be can't miss baseball.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 9th day of March in the year 2026. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And you can also find us on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies as we're getting closer and closer to opening day 2026. It's right around the corner here, as we got just the last couple of weeks of spring training here, as everything, this is all about fine-tuning, getting ready to go. And after in terms of wins and losses, a bit of a tough stretch for the Rockies, bounce back with a pretty solid weekend here. Let's dive into that. Plus, I don't know about you folks, I have been loving the World Baseball Classic. It has just been absolutely a blast, an absolute treat to be watching. We're going to dive into that, talk about that all on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. But before we go any further, I am, of course, Paul Holden, your Rockies fan extraordinaire, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk, as I have now for 6 seasons. And that means hundreds of episodes with you, the Locked On Rockies fans and everydayers out there, rocking and rolling through Rockies baseball together. The highs, the lows, and everything in between. That's what we're getting into here on the Locked On Rockies podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by MLB The Show. Visit MLBTheShow.com/LockedOn and use code LockedOn to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. So the Rockies here, one of the things that we were talking about, a bit of a tough weekend for the Rockies I would say tough week before heading into the weekend for the Rockies. And then the Rockies snapped their spring training losing streak, going 2 out of 3 here over the weekend, finishing with the tie. So no losses since Thursday, which is a good sign. The Rockies also scoring in this time 21 runs here, outscoring the opposition 21 to 14 over the course of the last 3 games. Always good to see. Rockies pitching staff, one of the things it was, I think we saw some sharper performances from certain individuals, but some instances where things got a little, it was kind of like one guy seemed to have some issues throughout the weekend. In the game against the A's, it was Keegan Thompson, who had 6 hits, 4 earned runs there in 2 1/3 innings. And in the Sunday game against the Guardians, it was Connor Eaton, who had 3 earned runs off of 3 hits and 4 walks in that as well. Just stuff that can't happen. I mean, as if you're a guy trying to make the team, the walks are the big problems here. I know this spring, and I know we're still in the prime, work on it, tweak on it time. But it's 4 walks, 3 walks. That type of stuff is the thing that I think is going to make it your case to make the roster a bit tougher. But on the flip side of that, the Rockies did get some strong performances here from some guys, including Zach Agnos, who had a good inning worth of work. And Adam Lasky there, he gave up 6 hits over 3 innings worth of work, but picking up 5 strikeouts in that time as the Rockies beat the Dodgers on Saturday. Also in the game against the Guardians on Sunday, Seth Halverson picking up 2 strikeouts there in his inning worth of work. John Brebbia continues to have a strong spring with another 2 strikeouts here for the Rockies. So we got to see some good bounce back performances from the Rockies pitching staff. As going into it, it was looking a little rough going into the weekend. The Rockies during that the week leading up to it, it was they even not we'll take out the exhibition against Team USA. They gave up 7 runs against the Dodgers, 10 runs against the Brewers, and then earlier also that weekend before going into the last week, that 16 spot from the Royals, and 8 runs scored by the Guardians there. So 5+ runs allowed by the Rockies in every performance there, and still close with 4 earned runs allowed here there over the weekend in every single game. But again, it's a matter of perspective when you're talking about the arms that were in there. Some of the highlights of over the weekend: Tyler Freeman has been looking pretty good coming back in as he continues to be an impact. TJ Rumfield continues to look confident here. We saw some action from Kyle Karros, 2-hit day, including a home run for Karros in that game against the Athletics. It's probably getting pretty close to calling it for Karros as the starter. He had 2 hits against the Guardians on Sunday as well. I don't know if there's really anybody that would be close in terms of spring performance to threaten the spot at third base so far for Kyle Karros. But great to see the Rockies offense continue to show that life there throughout the weekend, taking 11 runs against the Athletics, 6 against the Dodgers, and it was only 4 against the Guardians, but it was kind of a little bit of a hard fought game there, and got some action there. Jake McCarthy, a 3 RBI day against the Dodgers on Saturday. We also got to see the impact of Brenton Doyle and Jake McCarthy on defense at the same time. I believe that was the Saturday game against the Dodgers where we saw some of those diving plays and those big stops there. They can be an interesting. I think, again, if you're just looking on paper, the real season and the real games will prove if this is true. Those guys could be a very, very interesting combo, an interesting pair in the outfield, especially the outfield of Coors Field. If they're able to limit the damage, limit the balls that get hit in the gap, limit those issues there, that will help keep the Rockies in ball games. And I believe I think it was a column in the Denver Post talking about one of the things that's going to carry the Rockies to exceed expectations, or a season that is better than what people expect is defense is going to play a massive factor in that. It's going to be a huge reason why the Rockies are able to stay in games, steal a couple of games, is because they're going to be able to rely on the fact that they got a Gold Glover in center. They got a Gold Glover at shortstop. They got Jake McCarthy, who's using his speed over there in left, and hopefully Jordan Beck can be a dominant defender over there in right, and they're able to really dominate the outfield at altitude there, mixed in with hopefully big things from Rumfield and Karros on the infield as well on that side. And then you got veteran presence with some guys and an all-star and Willie Castro at second base as you're applying that, and some other veteran utility guys there. So as much as we've preached about both the pitching and the offense, a key part of what's going to be successful for the Rockies this year, it has to be defense. We saw last year how big of a deal when the Rockies struggle on defense and allow the opposition to have those free passes. It ain't going to work, and that's what happened for the Rockies in that the exhibition against Team USA as well. So, all in all, this is again, we were it was let's see some adjustments. Let's see the Rockies bounce back, and that was a weekend of doing just that. Obviously, these are we keep bringing up, these are spring games, but this is how I'd like the pattern to go for the Rockies during the regular season. You got to go. They started spring on a little bit of a hot streak. You go on the winning streak. All right, losing streak, but then you bounce back with a couple of solid performances linked together, as opposed to how we've seen with the Rockies before of, it's win in 2 games, lose 8, 7, 6, 5 in a row, and you don't really string together a lot of things. When you're able to go on, winning 3 or 4, and obviously it was a tie there, but when you go positive, when you have a strong weekend, right, you have a chance at winning. That means you're putting yourself in a good spot to win a series there, a weekend series. So I think that this is how I would like to see the Rockies respond during the regular season too, to the eventual reality of going on losing streaks. Every team is going to go on losing streaks, but the Rockies just go on some real nasty and long ones, and hopefully they're able to break that up a little bit more, as we saw over the weekend, putting together some good ball. Anybody standing out to you? Anybody that is having a strong spring that you want to hear us talk about? Let me know in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section, because as much as I was checking in on the Rockies this weekend with baseball, I can't lie. I spent a lot of time checking on the WBC, and man, oh man, I love this tournament. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes MLB The Show 26. The greatest game in baseball is back with its newest installment. Baseball fans are going to have a hard time pulling themselves away from the game. And I know this is for me. You get me going on road to the show, I just want to sit there and take at-bat after at-bat after at-bat and get my created character to the show to help the Rockies as soon as possible. And maybe you're more into the competitive side. Well, you can go head-to-head against your friends playing as your favorite team, or try to take your favorite team to the championship in the franchise mode. If you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or just want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in a new, exciting way, you're going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team and franchise players and see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. And let's be honest, Rockies fans, we know the sooner the earliest you're going to see a championship for Colorado will be in the show. So visit MLBtheshow.com/lockedon and use code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection is required. Pre-order now, available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. We're also brought to you by the folks at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's the stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on the Locked On Rockies podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Back at it here for segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much again for making us your first listen of the day. If you want ad-free audio and you want to be part of the Everydayer Club Discord server where you can talk Rockies baseball with us, the Everydayers, and of course all the other sports as well, join us on the Everydayer Club. $5 a month, $50 a year is going to get you access to the Locked On Rockies ad-free audio and the Everydayer Club Discord server where you can break down your thoughts on Rockies baseball and lots more. All you got to do, $5 a month, $50 a year. LockedOnRockies.supercast.com, LockedOnRockies.supercast.com. Check the link in the show notes as well. Okay, so the Rockies playing spring training. It's all exciting, all good, all awesome, especially with some winning. And like we said, bounce back performances. The Rockies were kind of losing. The Rockies are giving up a decent amount of runs and a bit of a bad stretch in terms of overall performance, if you want to look at it that way. Bounce back with some good performances. But I can't sit there and say I was super focused on the Rockies baseball this weekend because the World Baseball Classic is just it's just way too entertaining. It's just so engaging, especially in the pool play when there's so many variables. There's so many interesting things. And I'm watching Panama, Puerto Rico go down to the wire. I'm watching the first home runs, walk-off home runs being hit in World Baseball Classic history. You're seeing stacked lineups and Kyle Schwarber, hitting a home run that starts breaking things open for the United States. And it's just clear that the World Baseball Classic is succeeding in showing off baseball in one of its coolest forms. We know the atmosphere and the ethos and the allure around playoff baseball and everything, but for there to be a tournament that's happening in the beginning of March, to have the level of baseball, the level of intensity, the level of care put into it from the fans and from the teams is pretty mind-blowing. And it continues to show how cool baseball can be, how exciting baseball can be, how engaging of a sport baseball can be, despite the reputation it might have. When you're seeing the environments in Puerto Rico, in Japan, in the Dominican Republic, and in these areas, and you're hearing these crowds erupt, you're seeing how important it is for all the players, you're seeing the intensity that they're carrying it on the field. It really it doesn't get much better than that. Is there better and more enjoyable baseball than outside of playoff baseball than the World Baseball Classic? I think there'd be an argument there. Is mid-May baseball going to be more entertaining and engaging than the World Baseball Classic? No, of course not, because the stakes aren't the same. But I just think what you get to see, not only is the World Baseball Classic, so this year especially, such a great way to see so many stars of the game and get to see these great rosters and these great lineups of guys get to play and share the field and learn from each other and just get to go through the you see Team Puerto Rico's got the same hair and everything, to go through this really fast, this condensed experience, but this crazy important experience to all of them. It's a great example of how great baseball can be. It's just the atmospheres at the ballpark, the reactions and the noise and everything from the crowds that we're seeing. Well, no matter the stadium, it's amazing. And it's amazing to hear the stories of so many guys. It's amazing to see guys get their moments and their opportunities to shine on a bigger stage and impactful games. It's great to see Australia going on these runs. I mean, and Panama was so close to beating Puerto Rico. It was going into extras, and then it ends in a walk-off home run. And there's just so much there. And it's topped off by the fact that, above all, you're getting so many performances and you're getting so much buy-in from the players that it's a joy to watch. I if you're a baseball fan, I don't know how you're missing out on this. There's no way that spring training is any way, shape, or form anywhere close to entertaining to the baseball that's being played at the World Baseball Classic. And of course, there's always the worries, and there's going to be questions of is it too quick of a ramp up? Is it too much? What happens if they get hurt? But it's clearly so important to the players to be a part of this. It's clearly something that the each players of all the teams, it matters to them. I believe you had Kike Hernandez saying the World Baseball Classic, it would mean more to win the World Baseball Classic than the World Series. And that's a guy that's played in a lot of World Series action. It's just really, I mean, it's not a surprise if you really think about how important the international game is and playing on the international stages for a lot of these guys. We see it all the time, during the Olympics and such. It's so cool to see just multiple weeks of the best in the business going at it in a tournament that really just, it started and it was one thing, and now it's just turned into a whole nother thing. And I just think it's such a good thing for baseball. I think this tournament these crowds, these teams, it's so good for the game of baseball. And it just shows baseball as this energetic, fun, competitive, cutthroat game that for a long time that was far from the that baseball's reputation was far from that. But it's a game that's when the players get to play and be who they are and express themselves, and the crowds encourage it, and you get to see just so many different of the different baseball cultures and cultures from around the world. It is just so awesome, and it's just so entertaining to see. Mixed with the fact that everybody's got players from their favorite team, whether it's a starter or someone from the farm system or the organization, spread out throughout all of the tournament, making it extra cool. Watching Jose Quintana pitch was awesome. Ezequiel Tovar has a 3-hit day for Team Venezuela. There's a million different things to look at for the how cool the World Baseball Classic is. So I hope you are all out there enjoying it as well, because it has been to me it has been absolutely awesome, and what a treat it has been to see and to watch so far. And I think it's only going to get better from here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your reaction to the World Baseball Classic and the Rockies weekend in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section. We're going to read a couple of comments and more coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies.
Hey, this is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds, and I've reached the point in my life where my wife and I are looking toward the future. We've got the house, we've got the career, we even have an awesome dog, but now we need to secure that future. That's where Ethos comes in for us. When I look at this insurance or that insurance and I try to pick one, I might as well be reading an entirely different language. Ethos clears up the noise and gets me set up with exactly what I need, because Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, and it's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockedonmlb. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get a free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockedonmlb. That's ethos.com/lockedonmlb, ethos.com/lockedonmlb. Application times and rates may vary.
We're also brought to you by the good folks over at Gametime. MLB opening day is almost here, and you can feel it. Fresh starts, big expectations, and that first crack of the bat. Whether it's a breakout rookie or a division race that goes down to the wire, there's nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem? Getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, price jumps at checkout. That's where there's Gametime. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. I've gotten into some big events, including the MLB All-Star Game, and I got in to go see the Gorillas at a big stage show back on their previous tour, all thanks to Gametime. And one of my favorite things, you get the view from the seat when you're picking out your seats. It is great. You get upfront pricing, you get authentic tickets, and you get a view from your seat. You can't beat that. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Locked On Rockies back with you all here for segment number 3 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. By the way, the Rockies making their first moves of the season here. Let me look this up real quick here. Their first cuts of the roster. I'm going to pull these up. Sorry, I thought I had it up here, but I will go this. And none of them were, I don't think anything were too surprising, anything like that. Wellington Herrera, Gabriel Hughes, Carson Palmquist, Luis Peralta, and Sterling Thompson were all sent to minor league camp there. And I think we had a listener that was curious about Carson Palmquist. Again, I'm not worried. I'm not freaking out about these guys going back and going to minor league camp. There's a lot of development and a lot of cooking that a lot of these guys need to do there. So a couple of more of your headlines from the Rockies spring training there with those moves. All right, let's read a couple of comments here to finish up the show here. Here's what Caden says. My biggest encouragement from spring is how the Rockies offense is the 9th fewest strikeouts in all of baseball right now. In my opinion, the biggest carryover stat into the regular season. Yeah, that's something we want to continue to see. That's that's hopefully setting the tone. That's showing that the work that the Rockies are putting in as they're working on their at-bats, they're working at their approach, it's paying off. That batter's eye is developing. They're getting that more control of the zone. Mixed with having the added tool in your back pocket of the ABS system this year, which will hopefully be a benefit for the Rockies. I think that's going to be something that'll be interesting to watch as I believe Baseball Savant is tracking the success of challenges this year. So it'll be interesting to see that mixed in with that, are the Rockies a team that are getting more of those overturns, which hopefully will cut down on some of the strikeouts as well. The offense will only be as good as they can be when it comes depending on strikeouts. There were so many empty missed opportunities last year, so many chances where the Rockies would get a runner in scoring position, get something going, and then strikeouts make it immediately 1 or 2 outs and sink the momentum of the whole inning. So yeah, the Rockies continuing to be a team that's not on the in the worst of MLB ranks in strikeouts and strikeout percentage, even if it is spring, is a great sign, and hopefully something that's going to be something that we can see carry over into the season here as well. Jim says, I believe that when the Colorado Rockies reach a point where they are third in their division and they threaten to steal second place in the division, that they will be the team we have been waiting for. But now it's a long waiting game for them to reach that level, staying cautious and positive about the team. Yep. I mean, it's going to take a while. I mean, that's it. It truly is going to be, it's all about patience and it's all about seeing our patience has to be rewarded this year when we see hopeful payouts and good performances from some of these guys and bounce back performances from the guys we've talked about a lot. It's with it being so far open and with some of the springs that we're seeing from some of the guys, it would be really awesome to see that translate into the regular season and at the big league level for some of these guys. It's starting right away. I mean, the reality check is going to happen in the first series of the season for the Rockies, as we've highlighted with that schedule. There is no low point until really the second, close to the second half of the season there. So yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of waiting to do and a lot of hoping and wishing, but there's still going to be I think it was good to hear in the broadcast again about the Rockies bringing in veteran players. This was the broadcast on Sunday. It just does feel like the Rockies bringing in more guys that have the veteran presence. It is that encouraging sign of the floor being raised for the Rockies. A lot more guys that know what it takes to be a big leaguer, know what it's going to be successful, know where they're at in their careers and what they need to do in order to be the more successful versions of themselves. That'll be interesting to see how that pans out and how that roster construction decisions pan out throughout the rest of the season. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB with our guy Sully and the Back to the Bullpen podcast, also available on the Locked On MLB feeds. And if you need more Colorado sports coverage can't blame it. There's a lot going on in the world of Colorado sports right now. Broncos, Buffs, Avalanche, Nuggets, all free and streaming. Locked On. We got you covered with all of them there. So check them out there, streaming services and on YouTube. And folks, until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.